I went through the new publication about what would happen on the coming March 2016. They call it Redesigned SAT. That names. So those people that haven't taken SAT yet, you have an entirely different stuff that you need to take care of, because the test will be quite different, or very, very different. So if all the students that you have a choice of taking the current one versus the one that is going to come out in March 2016, you may want to go home and do a very serious thinking, whether you want to take a current one or you want to take the next year's. All right. Now, what could happen next year is 58 questions instead of 54. The current one is 54, and the new one is 58. Now, I think the biggest news that you don't want to miss is now we subdivide into two parts. Okay, in the current one, you are allowed to use calculator. You can use calculator to do the problem, even though it may not help you. It may not be a good idea to do that. Now, the new ones, you have two divisions. Now, there's one sections called no calculator sections. All right, so you are not allowed to use calculator. That's probably going to be bad for those students that rely too much on calculator. That's the first thing you want to know that. And in terms of time, it's about the same. The current one, 77 seconds for each question. Now, the first one is 75, the second one is 86 seconds. The reason why you were given 86 seconds per problem is because you are not allowed to use calculator. So that wasn't too bad. Now, next questions are going to be harder or could be easier. Now, it depends on how to look at it. Okay, I don't want to give you my opinion until I finish up the presentations. The current ones only require to take algebra and geometry. All right, new design going to require you to take not only algebra 1 and geometry, also require to take algebra 2, 3, and there's one more subject called statistics. That would be really tough. I understand that no one will be taking statistics until you take an AP statistics. All right, so in algebra 2, they mentioned a little bit the probability, that mentioned a little bit permutation, but that is not the kind of problem that you expect to see in your redesigned SAT. The redesigned SAT actually expect you to understand something called confidence interval. That's something that you never heard until you take in the second part of your AP statistics. They expect you to know how to read the marginal frequency table, the fancy term. The table we're going to show that two different categories. For instance, I'm going to have female, male, and out of female, male, I have someone that's over beyond 18, and from 18 up to 55, and 55 up to 65. The two-way table, and you are required to know how to read that. Again, that was not covered in the algebra 2 class. It's not going to be covered until you take an AP statistics. So the redesign expects you to know stuff much more, wide, more broad. And the problem, the issue is the subject. The problem they ask you is going to be harder or easier, even though they ask you different kind of questions. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples. College Board said we're going to test you three basic branches called the hard algebra, and then the problem solving, and then we're going to passport to advanced mathematics. Under the hard algebra, they said we're going to test you linear equation, linear inequality, linear function in context. You want to pay attention to the last one, in context. And then you have a system in linear equation and inequality in context. Again, what do you mean by in context? Now you're not dealing with pure mathematics. Your job is to be able to extract information from a very long story. They can give you a story. Now, if you were to compare the size of the questions that on SAT, you're going to see a big difference. Can we go to the next one, please? That is how big a problem can be. Okay. In the current SAT, you probably take 3 lines to finish up a question. And redesign SAT under the category called in context, it takes about 6-7 lines to give you information. So the question says that in 2014, a particular county has 783 miles of road. Starting from 2015, the county has been building 8 miles of the new road. So at this rate, how many miles of payroll will the county X have in year 2030. Now, once you're done reading that one, the first you want to realize you're dealing with something called the linear functions. And in the current one, they expect you to remember how to write equation 9. Writing equation 9, you need to have slope. In order to have a slope, you have the 2 points. You were not given 2 points. Yeah, it was given to you, but you have to be able to extract it from the story. So you want to be able to extract from the story, and then, okay, we have the next one, please. Then he said, well, I want to shoot the reason. So I kind of use a different car of 783 miles to begin with, then with 8 miles per year. All right, so that actually tells you 2 pieces of information in a linear equation. Something called a slope, something called a y-intercept. All right, can you go next one, please. So you come up with a function. That's what they expect you to do. Now, student has to do it. Okay, which one?
Just back.
This whole.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So now, so you expect to come up with linear functions. I mean, for this particular question, they don't even ask you to calculate a slope. They didn't ask you to do that. Ask you to be able to read that. The very first thing that student has to overcome is what? You don't want to be panicking. You see a size this big compared to the current one only this big. So the first thing student has to be able to overcome the fear and say, hey, it's gonna be hard. Because for some reason, student has this in their back of mind. Say, well, the bigger the problem, the harder the problem is. That may not be true. So you have to learn how to overcome that. Okay, now, oops. What? Shooting in the wrong directions? All right, okay, that's fine. Now, after you learn how to do that, now this time you have something called a line in the context that describes. They don't expect you to write the equation on line. They don't expect you to come up with linear function. They expect you to know how to interpret it. So you're given that, say the value of a car n years after it was manufactured is modeled by equation. Again, a linear equations. 30,000 minus 1,200 times n is the number of years. Okay. In this particular problem, your job is to tell me what do you mean by the 1,200. Okay. So you have to know how to interpret that. That's what I mean by in context. That's what I mean by we're gonna test you your knowledge that you can actually apply to your real life. You're not trying to deal with mathematics that you find there's no application at all. I've seen a lot of students say, why do I need that? It's funny. I heard students say, well, I'm not going to be an engineer. Why do I need mathematics? I'm not going to be. He decided to be do landscaping. He said, well, my dad is a landscaper and he did not have very good education. He makes pretty good money. Well, that's what student was questioning. He said, well, why do I need mathematics? I think the way math has been taught is in a way that you don't see that as application. Okay, very unfortunately, you don't see that mathematics can be applied to your grade level until you're taking calculus course. And before you reach calculus, another student already give out mathematics. That is the reason, same to see that. So I think they decided to do that was, so you've got to know how to interpret that. All right, so is that hard? Depends on what you ask. I would say this is actually pretty easy, once you know how to read it. Okay, we'll go to the next one, please. All right, so now, you have a data analysis. If you've been scared with the first one, then it's even worse. You see that? Now there are actually 4 choices, but I decided not to type up STEM and C and D because I'm going to use up the entire page. Okay, so you didn't have enough enough screen, so I decided to give out statement number C and D. So this question simply say that a quality control manager would say, well, if I were to inspect 100 battery, okay, and the battery has 95% confidence interval. Wow, never heard that. You never heard that in your algebra class. This terminology did never pop up in your pre-calc class. You don't see that in taking statistics. So the 95% confidence interval are 324 to 360 km/h. Which the following conclusion is the most reasonable based on the confidence interval? You don't even know what it is. Okay? Now I only put 2 statements. 95% of the all battery produced by the company have a life between 324 to 360. Second one, it's plausible that the true average life of the battery is going to be half as 324 to 360. Now, confidence interval, this is very confusing. It's a very confusing terminology in statistics, and that actually is the type of problems going to be tested in the statistics class. What do you mean by confidence interval? Confidence interval simply say that, if I were to repeat the sampling 100 times, 100 sample every time, I probably get somewhere between 324 to 360. All right, so I can say that the average will be somewhere around. I don't know exactly what the average is going to be, and this has nothing to do with algebra class. And college will decide to put it on a redesign essay. You're probably going to agree with me that redesign meaning harder. All right, let's look at another example here. Now this time it's true mathematics. Okay, 6x squared minus 5x plus 4 is divided by 3x plus 2, and you got 2x minus 3 plus r over 3x plus 2. What's the value of? Okay, now this is called, this is simply say that it's the division of a polynomial. Now you learn that division of polynomial in algebra 2 class. You learn how to do that, and then this told you that's the division of polynomial. And look at this one. So what do they ask me? Okay. Now when you read this one here, you don't really know that are they asking about remainder or asking about the quotients. It could be either way. See that's how tricky they are. They didn't put r over 3x plus 2 plus 2x minus 3. They don't do that. Okay, so instead of doing that one, so you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself. Now the other one is you look at the dividend 6x minus 5x plus 4, and divide us 3x plus 2. So if you take the 6x squared divided by 3x, you are supposed to get 2x. Am I right? So it looks like it's the quotients, it's the remainder. Do you really want to perform division to find the remainder? That's the issue. And college, well, looks like college will gonna like that. We're gonna test you on that. All right. So next questions. Look at this problem. You have a quadratic, okay, polynomial, 2 degree divided by the linear expression. This time, the divisor is ax minus 2, and you will give a negative 8x minus 3 minus 53 over x minus 2. You're forced to be able to recognize this is talking about the remainder. All right, so therefore, in theory, we say, well, that means I need to perform division. You were wrong. You were wrong again. You were wrong again. You don't need to perform divisions. Do you remember how much time do you have for the questions? About 75 seconds. This is the 75 seconds to 85 seconds. If you know something from your algebra 2 class, this is a very small piece of information that was inserted in your algebra 2 textbook, and teacher never able to explain to you what I meant by that. The way they said it was something that you don't pay attention. But this problem is saying here, if you want to find a, that's very easy to do that. If you want to plug in x equal to a over 2, you can answer. There's something called remainder theorem in algebra 2 textbooks. And your teacher never ever. The way that was put on your textbook, they didn't say that, well, you want to find a remainder, do this. They don't do that way. They give you, the way they write it is, if you want to find f of x divided by x minus c, the remainder is f of c. That's what it's saying. And if your teacher did not explain to you what I mean by that, I doubt it. You want to be able to make a connection. That's why you get it so much harder. Get it so much harder. Can we go to the next one? So, what do you think? What do you think? Is it harder? You have to ask yourself. Okay. Now, before you try to address this question, I think what you want to ask yourself is, the question is more even important is, are you going to be ready to take the test? When I say that, doesn't mean that have you sit down to prepare yourself for SAT yet. My question is, by the time you decide to start to prepare for your SAT, are you done with your algebra 2? Are you done with your pre-calculus? Well, maybe not prepared. Are you done with the trigonometry? Now, it does ask you trigonometry problem, and the way they ask question is super, super easy if you know the basics. Okay, if you know the basics, and the type of problem they ask you require you to know some basics identity. I didn't get a chance to put it there, but what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to convey the idea that the material can be much harder, and you know, like I say, it will require you algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, trigonometry.